LG still has something to prove. Korean rival Samsung has surpassed it, but LG isn't taking the loss lightly. With the Optimus G, it targeted the Galaxy S3, and with the Optimus G Pro, it's taking on Samsung's other darling, the giant Galaxy Note 2. The Optimus G Pro has the same size display as the Samsung's phablet, but is it better? With the G Pro, LG has managed to squeeze itself into a narrower frame than the Note 2, giving the impression that the G Pro isn't as big as those other ridiculously big phones. We always appreciate it when phone makers find a way to shave a few millimeters off, especially at this size. Make no mistake, the G Pro isn't going to convert people who think 5.5 inches is just too big for a phone. But it could give those of you waiting for the perfect moment to jump on this boat a great excuse to do so. If you hide the labels, it's easy to mistake the LG Optimus G Pro for a Galaxy Note 2 at first glance. They have very similar design language, right down to the oblong home button on the bottom, flanked by capacitive back and menu buttons. The G Pro has plenty of distinctive design elements as well, elements that are emerging as LG signatures. LG is clearly learning how to design good, foldable phones. The last 5-inch phone the company released in the US, the LG Intuition, aka the Optimus VU, was, frankly, a ridiculous rectangular slab. This new device is comfortable to hold in one hand even if your hands aren't mythically large. The G Pro also has softer corners than the original Optimus G, and the edges aren't just rounded but tapered in a way that makes finding and pressing the buttons easy. The G Pro is 4.4 millimeters narrower than the Note 2, which makes a bigger difference than you'd think. The extra slimness comes from making the bezel smaller and results in a phone that's a little easier to wrap your hand around. It also feels more like a normal phone when held up to the ear. However, this does alter the balance a bit, making the G Pro more prone to tipping when holding on the bottom, which you have to do when typing. We also love the aesthetic touches, the thin chrome strip around the edge that widens on the top and bottom. LEDs ring the home button and serve as the notification light. A holographic pattern graces the back and reminds us of the Nexus 4 and original Optimus G. Since the back is plastic instead of glass, it won't go sliding off slick surfaces either. It's removable to give access to the battery, SIM card, and micro SD card slots. Alongside the volume toggle and power button is one extra, the Q button. Sitting on the upper left edge above volume, it's easy to mistake this for the power button at first, and we did this a few times until we got used to it, since it's the same size. This button activates the Q Memo app by default, allowing users to write a memo on screen or take a screenshot, but you can customize it